All right, let's go to work. He's Tyler Foljam. I'm Joe Fortenbaugh. This is a Thursday episode of Bet. Lots to get to. Major showdown Sunday Night Football. The Steelers traveling to the Bills. Is it possible Buffalo could eventually pass Pittsburgh in the race for the number one seed in the AFC? We've got something called Prop Art, the Parlay to Paradise. One word, a million different segments.
Anita Marks.
Marks.
House.
The prop queen, our prop king. She was red hot on Tuesday, 6-0 on ESPN Chalk. If you're watching us on Twitter or Facebook, thank you very much. If you want to check out more great gambling content, courtesy of ESPN, go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ESPN Sports Betting. You'll see these two ugly mugs over there, the ugly mug of Doug Kazarian on our other friends from Daily Wager, and all that good stuff will be there if you want to check it out. But we are going to begin today's episode with a little tribute to Thursday Night Football. The segment is called Place or Pass. Your Rams and the New England Patriots set to get underway in LA in a little while. It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
very intimidating.
It's a great graphic. It's a great you can't, I don't know if you can see that, but yes,
the emoji's fantastic.
As a Rams fan, a lot of anxiety and angst anytime the Patriots are the opponent because they have ruined many a day of mine as a Rams fan. I was at Super Bowl 36 when the Patriots started their dynasty, beat the Rams, so.
All right, so the game tonight, we talked about it yesterday. We've got four props. I'm going to read up the prop. If you like it, if you bet it, you're going to say pass or you're going to say place.
Wouldn't it say place?
It's a 50-50 and I blew it. It was a 50-50 and I blew it. If you like it, you're going to say place. If you don't like it, you're going to say pass. Are you ready, sir?
I think I got it.
Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp to score a touchdown anytime during this game, plus 138, which means a $100 wager. If it wins, returns $138 of profit.
You know what? I'll place it. And the reason being I like that value there. Cooper Kupp has just 2 touchdowns this year. I think he's in line for some positive regression. He has always been Jared Goff's favorite target inside the red zone. This year, Goff has expanded that to Robert Woods, tight ends like Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett. But I think this is a good matchup for Cooper Kupp, where he'll have the advantage in the slot against the New England, secondary. And the fact that he's only scored twice this season for someone who usually finds the paint 5, 6, 7 times a year, positive regression. So at that value, sure, I'll place it.
All right, I'm going to be on the other side of this one. I am going to pass on whether or not Cooper Kupp will score an anytime TD. He's actually, you're talking about his receiving TDs, he scored 4 touchdowns this year. 2 in the punt return game this season, so he has scored 4. But let's go through it. Plus 138 implies a probability of Cooper Kupp finding the end zone tonight 42% of the time. He's only scored in 2 of the 12 games he's played. So you're only going to give me plus 138 to make this bet. That's why I pass. Not to say you can't do it. I'm just not getting enough bang for my buck on this one.
4 touchdowns? What were those punt return touchdowns? I think you got a bad stat there.
I was looking through the category today. It's a 2 and 2.
He does not have 2 punt return touchdowns this year.
You're saying I'm wrong.
As a Ram fan who's watched every snap of the Rams this season, I can assure you he does not have 2 punt return touchdowns.
Curse you, Pro Football Reference. Curse you. Or maybe it was my eyes and the wire between the eyes and the brain that screwed that one up. That's why you're a super fan. You called that one out immediately. Number 2, place or pass.
Okay.
First quarter points scored in this game under 7.5.
I'm going to place it. We think this is going to be a low-scoring game anyways, right? The total's 43.5, and we have...
It's been dropping.
And it's been dropping. I looked at the Rams and the 4 primetime games they have played, standalone games they've played so far this season. Dallas in week 1 at home, at the 49ers, versus the Bears, and at the Bucks. All 4 of those games went under 7.5 first quarter points. And then I looked at each team, how many of their games have gone under 7.5 first quarter points. 7 of the 12 Rams games have. 8 of the 12 Patriots games have. So
numbers.
I'm going to ride these trends here, and I'm going to place that bet under 7.5 first quarter points.
First quarter points under 7.5. I am with you on that one. I will place it as well. Hopefully this time with factual statistics, not made up statistics, courtesy of my own brain. Do we trust New England to score much in this game? They're scoring 22.8 points per game this season. That's 23rd in the NFL. They are going against one of the best defenses in the NFL. The Rams are first in opponent yards per play and 5th in scoring defense. And my colleague just mentioned, the total in this game continues to drop. So the sharp bettors are coming in saying, we don't think there's going to be a lot of scoring. The Patriots in general aren't scoring very much, and they're going up against a defense that prevents quite a bit of scoring. How will Jared Goff handle his first look at the Patriot defense? Maybe he benefits from the McVay script. Maybe he doesn't, but this is going to require 2 scores. Nobody go for 2 if they score a touchdown. Nobody go for 2 if they score a touchdown. I will be with you on this one. I will place the under 7.5. Number 3, place or pass for Thursday Night Football. Jared Goff over 35.5 passing attempts.
You would think with the struggles that Goff and McVay have had against Belichickian defenses that they'd want to go under this. I'm going to place this bet and go over because I do think McVay and Goff will be able to throw. I talked about it on Daily Wager today. I'll remind our bet viewers if they didn't see it. In 4 of his last 5 games played, Goff has thrown 35 or more pass attempts.
Boom.
In all 4 of those games, the Rams had the time of possession advantage over their opponent.
Boom, 2.
Their defense is playing so well, the Rams defense, that they're creating more opportunity and more volume for the Rams offense because 3 and out or short series for the opposing offenses because the Rams defense has been so lights out in recent weeks. New England, by the way, you want to attack them through the air. They are 27th in the NFL in pass yards allowed per attempt. So Sean McVay, on the basis of his defense being great and the weakness of the Patriots defense being through the air, I think we're going to have added drives, added opportunity for Goff to air it out against the Patriots defense. I'm going to go over. I'm going to place that bet.
Jared Goff over 35.5 passing attempts. Originally, I was with you. I am going to pass on this. I will not be placing this. Here's why. Goff's averaging 37.5 passing attempts per game this season. So you think, all right, based on his average, this is pretty solid. Plus, like you said, what was it, 4 of his last 5 games he's gone over this total?
Yes.
So again, another trend that would point in the right direction. So I say to myself, why are they setting the number at 35.5? Let's take a look at New England's defense. 12 games this season. Do you know how many opposing quarterbacks have thrown 36 or more passes?
I'm going to guess no more than 1.
2.
2. Okay, 2.
2 of 12 opposing quarterbacks have thrown 36 or more passes against the Patriots. That is why I am going to pass on this bet. I think it's an under. Number 4, place or pass, Thursday Night Football. Cam Newton, over 1.5 touchdown passes.
This one was the easiest one, I think, to answer. A pass on this one. The Rams have allowed just 14 passing TDs this season. That is tied for the best mark, the Dolphins in the National Football League. And Cam has just thrown 5 touchdown passes the entire season in 11 games. So him getting 2 against the best pass defense in the NFL, no thank you, I'll pass.
Yeah, I am with you on that one. He has not thrown 2 touchdown passes in a single game this season. Not once. He's thrown 5 all year. And again, the total continues to plummet in this one. So I am with you. All right, it is time to play a little game we want to call Prop Art. Prop Art. Get a look at that. The geniuses behind the scenes, they make us look good. Figuratively and literally, here's how it works. We want to unload more prop bets for you. 9, in fact. 3 from Tyler Fulgham, 3 from myself, and 3 from one of our good friends, Anita Marks, ESPN sports betting analyst, who, by the way, on Tuesday in our ESPN Chalk column, went 6-0 on props in the Ravens-Cowboys game. Anita, how you feeling? You still hot?
Good, baby. I'm feeling hot. I mean, come on. Wagering on props just takes your viewing experience to the whole new level, right? And especially when you win, it's fantastic. So let's give them some more winners this week, guys.
All right, so here's how we're going to do it. We're going to go around the world. We're going to start with you. It's going to be you, Tyler, me, you, Tyler, me, you, Tyler, me. Anita, the floor is yours. What's your first prop bet for us?
All right, let's go Corey Davis, over 65.5 receiving yards against the Jags. A.J. Brown dealing with an ankle issue. He's not 100%, but even when he does play, Corey Davis is still getting a lot of love. There's no denying that. The Jaguars struggling in their secondary. Both Henderson and Hayden are on IR. I love the over in receiving yards for Corey Davis this week.
Over on Corey Davis. Tyler Fulgham, you're up next.
All right, Tom Brady, fresh off the bye, over 2.5 passing TDs against the Minnesota Vikings. Like I said, I think Tampa Bay was maybe the team in most dire need of a bye. Unfortunately for them, it happened later than any other team except for one in the NFL this season. So Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, fresh off that bye. Again, they've lost 3 of their last 4. I think Brady and those pass weapons come out against a soft soft Minnesota Vikings pass defense, and Brady goes nuts in a game. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. I think Brady gets at least 3 TDs.
Cowboys at Bengals, the game we're all excited about on Sunday. That's where I'm going. It's my favorite prop bet of the last month of the season. Yes, Andy Dalton will throw an interception. Over half an interception. Very juicy. A lot of juicy fruit here. Minus 170, but for good reason. Every single game Dalton has started this year, 5 of them, he has thrown at least 1 interception. We have been riding this train for 4 weeks, and we're going to continue to do so. And when Dalton eventually doesn't throw an interception, guess what's going to happen? I'm coming back the next week to bet him to throw an interception yet again. The Bengals are going to get after him. This is a big redemption game. Andy leaves Cincinnati. Now he's coming back. He'll throw at least 1 interception. Anita Marks, what do you have for number 2?
Here's something real. See, I'm staying in the same game, and I'm taking the same player, but I'm going over in passing yards. Over 244.5 passing yards for Andy Dalton. He's going up against his old team. He wants to take it to him. He's got a plethora of weapons that he can work with. He put up 285 passing yards against the Ravens secondary, and the Bengals, their pressure rate is below 20%. He's going to have all day back there to throw the ball. And I'll tell you what, the Cowboys offensive line impressed me the other night when they had to go up against the Ravens. So I love Andy Dalton over passing yards. I think he's going to take it to his old team.
All right, similarly to what you, Joe Fortenbaugh, like to do with Andy Dalton, just bet it every week and hope to be profitable. This is something that I have been touting week in and week out. Derrick Henry over 22.5 rushing attempts against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're more than a touchdown favorite. We know it's December, and when December rolls around, usually Derrick Henry's out there balling. 22.5 is the number against Jacksonville. Peep this. The Jags opponents have called a run play against their defense 46% of the time, which is the 3rd most in the NFL. And we know the Titans run at the 4th highest rate in the NFL. A lot of Henry in an easy matchup. He gets at least 23 carries against the Jags. It probably goes for about $150 and 3 touchdowns.
The Arizona Cardinals at the New York Giants. Kyler Murray under 36.5 rushing yards. Has anyone noticed that Kyler Murray is not running the ball as much since he banged up his shoulder? First 9 games of the season, he was averaging 9.6 rushing attempts per game. Last 3 games, that's fallen from 9.6 down to 5. 5 rushing attempts per game. Get this, only 2 NFL teams in the business have given up fewer rushing yards to opposing quarterbacks this season than the New York Football Giants. That would be the New Orleans Saints, and believe it or not, the Houston Texans. Kyler Murray under 36.5 rushing yards. Anita, last one. What do you got?
Joe, what's going on here? Same game, same player. Murray under 250.5 passing yards. Listen, this card's bird, its wing is clipped. What makes him so explosive is him running the football. Do you know in the past 3 games, only 9 designated rushing calls for Murray? It just does not open things up for him in the passing game. DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a tough matchup against Bradbury and Patrick Graham. This Giants defensive coordinator, he is just so creative in regard to the schemes that he's putting together. Even Russell Wilson didn't know what to do with the ball. He was holding the ball for 4 seconds. So I think it's going to be a long day for Murray. You say in the rushing game, I say in the passing game. We're both on the under. I love it.
I'm on an island again here. I'm going to the LA Chargers taking on the Atlanta Falcons. And the Chargers, surprisingly, 2.5-point dogs at home against the Falcons. Didn't understand that, but what a massive bounce back spot for Justin Herbert. I'm going over 279.5 passing yards against the Falcons. Here is why. Herbert is averaging more than 50 pass attempts in the last 3 games he has played. And passing is the way that you want to attack the Falcons. They allow more than 300 passing yards per game this season. They're actually quite stout against the run. They're a top 10 run defense. So use Austin Eckler as those extended handoffs. Give him 10 passes out of the backfield. Of course, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Hunter Henry are great weapons against a team that is just abysmal at defending the pass. I'm expecting 300 yards in this game from Justin Herbert, well over 279.5, which is his player prop. That's one of my favorite bets, as a matter of fact, of the weekend.
Look at you. I'm going to go to the Vikings at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers rested, coming off their bye. Kirk Cousins, quarterback of the Vikings, under 279.5 passing yards. You might say, wait a minute, Fortenbaugh. Kirk Cousins has thrown for 290 or more passing yards in 4 straight games. What gives? I'll tell you what gives. He's going to get rocked in this game. This is that classic Kirk Cousins spot where he rolls into a bad situation against a very good defense that's only given up about 255 passing yards per game this season, but they are off the bye. They are angry, and they see the light at the end of the tunnel. 4 winnable games to close the season for the Buccaneers. I think the pass rush is going to be ferocious. I think it's going to be similar to what you saw from Minnesota at San Francisco last year in the playoffs. He's going to be rattled early. They're going to be all over him. It's not going to be a good day for the Vikings. Cousins under 279.5 passing yards. Anita Marks, we love you. You're the best guest we have. You come on, you deliver in splendid fashion as always. Thank you so much for your time.
Good luck this week, everybody.
She is red hot right now, 6-0 in that chalk column on Tuesday for the Ravens-Cowboys game. We're looking to stay hot. We're looking to keep pace with the great Anita Marks.
Speaking of staying hot, I do want to say that you wear that shade of pink well. When we had the prop art up there, you wear that well, that lipstick, whatever that was.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that pops a little bit more than I'd like it to
It would
pop.
match your shirt right now. It'd be a nice match for your shirt right now.
I'll keep that in mind if I find myself in Key West anytime in the near future for any of their Halloween festivities. Sunday Night Football, we got a big one from Buffalo, New York. It's the 11-1 Pittsburgh Steelers coming off their first loss of the season, set to take on the 9-3 Buffalo Bills, who are off a 10-point domination of the Niners on Monday night. I want to give you the schedules the rest of the way out. Remember, Pittsburgh's 11-1.
Correct.
Buffalo's 9-3.
Correct.
Pittsburgh is going to be at Buffalo here, obviously, at Cincinnati, hosting Indianapolis, hosting Cleveland. On the flip side, Buffalo will be hosting Pittsburgh, naturally. At Denver, at New England, hosting Miami. Okay. Do you think there's any chance that given the current gap between the two games and the remaining schedule that Buffalo could get past the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC seeding by the time we get to the playoffs?
I do not, because spoiled surprise on a potential pick, I don't think the Buffalo Bills are going to win this game. I think the Steelers are going to win this head-to-head and create even further separation. And should they end in a tie by Buffalo going 3-0 the rest of the way and the Steelers inexplicably dropping all 3, they'd have that head-to-head tiebreaker and still have that 1-seed or 2-seed or have an advantage on the Bills, whatever the case is, and whatever happens with the Chiefs, of course, in the AFC. So, spoiler alert, no, I don't think the Bills in any way, shape, or form are a higher seed in the postseason or a better seed in the postseason than the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I hope my in-laws are not watching right now. They're from Buffalo, and it's been quite the season for them. Although they probably have more important
Great
things to do
season if you're circling the wagon.
Great season.
Great season.
Side total. Currently, Buffalo is laying 2-point favorite. Total of 48. If you had to make a bet on this one Sunday night, we know you're going to. What would it be?
Yeah, I kind of tease what I do as far as the side, but let me talk about the total. I'm going to go over the total. I do think both of these teams will put some points on the board. The Buffalo Bills don't have a very good defense this year. Sean McDermott is known for that, but teams are scoring. Nick Mullins threw for 300. I know some came in garbage time, but remember them moving the ball up and down the field a little bit, and they didn't necessarily get the ball in the paint because they got stopped on the goal line and Mullins made some mistakes, but it wasn't because they were an inefficient offense. The Bills have just not been good this season, or as good as expected, as good as we usually see from Sean McDermott. So I think this Pittsburgh offense, equipped with maybe the best trio of pass catchers in the NFL, and then you had James Washington who found the paint last week as well. I think they're going to score somewhere in the 25 to 30-point range. And I do think it's a bad matchup for Josh Allen. But the Bills' offense is good. Allen will have, he's not going to throw for 375 and 4 TDs like they just did against the 49ers because the Steelers are one of the best defenses, maybe the best in all the National Football League. So I'm going to temper those expectations. But I do think Steph Diggs, I do think Moss and Singletary and Allen with his legs can make some things happen. So I'd probably feel more comfortable betting the side here and go over that, or betting the total, pardon me, and go over that. I do think the Steelers win the game, though. No, I have too many on my side.
You know what this means? Roulette bet. We are going to be at odds on this one. I know you're going with the over. I don't have a position on that, but based on the side, I will be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game.
Well, that's not a roulette bet. I'm saying Steelers as well.
I mean, you're no fun. I'd like to play some roulette. Let's find a way to play some roulette, please, whether it's you spinning or me. This is your classic buy low spot on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Agreed.
So the look-ahead line here was Pittsburgh -2, -2.5, right? They go out, they lose to Washington. Buffalo goes out, national TV, they beat the Niners. We see a 4.5, 5-point adjustment all the way to Bills -2 or 2.5, depending on where you're looking. It's too much. You got to remember something. This is the spot where you want to back Pittsburgh. When they're big favorites against bad teams, that's where they traditionally play down to their competition. We saw it against the Ravens D squad 2 weeks ago, and against Washington, they were so out of gas against a very well-rested Washington team, they fell flat on their face in the second half. Here's the stat of the day for you. Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin, as a road underdog. So he's traveling, he's an underdog, he's playing a winning team, a good team, someone you have to get up for. 17-5 against the spread. 17-5 against the spread. I will take the points with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well. All right. Something we've introduced to the show in recent weeks. It is called One Word. I am going to read a statement. You are going to give me one word that comes to mind when you hear that statement. You have your iPad,
ready.
You have your iPad pencil.
Ready.
Presumably you are ready. Are you such?
I am ready, my friend.
All right. One word. Here we go. The over-under for the Ravens-Browns game on Monday night is 46.5.
The one word I think of, that's lofty. Lofty. 46
James Lofton.
I think it's a little high for two teams that want to come out and run the football as much or more as any two in the National Football League. And although they're both obviously very, very capable because Chubb, Hunt, and then you have Jackson, Dobbins, Edwards, Ingram on the Baltimore side, these aren't like terrible run defenses either. So I don't expect there to be, two or three play drives where Chubb takes 170 yards and then Jackson immediately answers with a 70-yard touchdown run. I think it's going to go under is what I bet. So lofty is what I say here because even though they're two great running teams, you're going to have to put together methodical drives in this matchup.
Okay, you say lofty. Browns, Ravens, over under 46.5. I say, let's draw it out.
Weather?
I say weather. Weather's the word. You might think to yourself, what's that supposed to mean? The total's dropping in this case. It was higher than 46.5 when it came out. And when it's this time of year, in a region of the country such as Cleveland with an outdoor venue, the first thing you should be looking at is weather. That doesn't mean it's weather, but this time of year, fantasy, daily fantasy, any of that stuff, you need to be looking at weather. And over the weekend, there are some high wind gusts and high winds in the forecast for Cleveland. Game time temperature as of now is supposed to be somewhere in the 30s, and there's no precipitation in sight. But just keep your eye on the winds. It could be dropping for a variety of reasons. You want to be advised and watch the weather throughout the course of the year.
Just count on the weather being bad because the Browns are playing in the game. They have dealt with horrible weather, wind and rain all year long, it seems like.
Number 2, I will begin this one.
Oh.
The Vegas Knights, near and dear to our heart now that we're living in the city of Las Vegas, are 8-1 to win the Stanley Cup. Plus 800. 8-1 to win the Stanley Cup. That's a good thing.
Your
those
word,
of you who are new to this.
my friend.
My word on this.
For VGK. Robbery.
This is robbery, but it's smart on behalf of the bookmakers. This team is located here in Las Vegas. There are sports books and bookmakers located here in Las Vegas. They saw this happen in year one of the Knights, and they've seen it every year since. The fans, the public, even if you don't like to bet, they bet on the Knights. They take in so much money on the Knights when it comes to futures, winning the Stanley Cup. They have to be very careful about limiting their liability. It was the same thing that happened back in Tiger Woods' heyday. Woods was so good that his odds were ridiculous. He wasn't a true 6-1 to win. His true odds were maybe around 15-1. But because the books knew they were going to take so much money, they adjusted the prices accordingly. And as a result, I see the same thing happening here. I call this robbery, but it's very smart. No one's going to be arrested for it.
We stay out of jail.
The Vegas Knights,
the goal.
8-1 to win the Stanley Cup. What's your one word?
My one word for that is
red.
Yeah, I switched up the color since you stole my blue. Insane. It's insane how this franchise immediately gets dropped into the National Hockey League and has been so great. They went to the Stanley Cup final their first year in the league. We know that. Then they made the postseason again in year 2. Year 3, they were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Now they're plus 800 in year 4, 8-1 to win the Stanley Cup. It's absolutely insane how immediately good this team has been in the NHL. So insane is the word that I think of.
Shockingly, their building is right down the street. We're going to be able to, when post-COVID, of course, we're going to be able to wrap some of these shows and head right down to check them out.
Like
Number 3, one word, you will go first. What's the one word that comes to mind when you hear this? Dustin Johnson is the favorite to win the next 4, count them 4 major championships in golf.
Okay.
I will wait patiently.
I'm going to borrow a term from those who like to drink certain types
Extremity.
of soft drinks.
Extreme!
To me, that's too
Grave
extreme.
digger, one night only. Saturday, be there.
It's too extreme. I mean, is Dustin Johnson one of the most talented, best golfers in the world? Absolutely. Is he going to the Hall of Fame? Shoo-in, no doubt. He just won his second major championship. It was just his second major championship. So when we get to August and the Masters, or I guess before that in March, we get now the PGA Championship. It's just extreme to have him beat. Someone will be put in better form, whether it's Rory, whether it's John Rahm. Maybe it'll be Tiger coming into Augusta in good form. I don't know. Justin Thomas as well. But once we get to these actual events in the 2021 calendar year, I have a hard time imagining that DJ is still going to be the favorite for all four of these like he is right now. So to me, it's a little too extreme.
Extreme. Okay, so Dustin Johnson to be the favorite is the favorite to win the next 4 major championships. Another lesson in bookmaking
Obviously.
coming your way. Obviously.
I like what you do with your Y's at the end of words.
I like the pad. It just flows naturally.
But I like
Did I
what you
spell
do.
that right? It feels like I didn't spell
It's
that
like a
right.
little cat. No, you
Obviously.
spelled it right. You spelled it
Okay.
correct. Very good.
Let me ask you something. Right now, you're setting odds on, let's call it the U.S. Open. Who's your favorite?
DJ?
DJ, you're setting odds on the Open Championship. Knowing full well you'll get fired if you set bad odds, who would be your favorite?
DJ, I don't think his game translates well to the Open Championship, so I'd probably go with like a Justin Thomas or a John Rahm. John Rahm, a European over there. But that was my point of why I would extreme. But again, is there an obvious reason why he is? Yes, I absolutely agree with you.
He is the absolute best in the game right now, and we all suffer from recency bias, right? The idea of what we saw last is what's going to continue to happen. We put more weight on it.
Yep.
He just won at Augusta. He has had a crazy 7-month stretch. Right now, yes, if you were setting odds for all 4 majors, he'd be the favorite. But if we're doing it at the time of, I would bet now he won't be the favorite for all 4, which is what I believe you're saying as well.
Bingo.
All right. It's time for the moneymaker that makes no money. You know it as the Parlay to Paradise, a 9-team $50 parlay that we place each and every week in the hopes of making so much cash we can quit and go live in paradise. Not together, because that would be weird.
What? You don't want to live with
Separately,
me, bro?
but we would still be bros, and
Can
we
we
would
at
send
least
each
like
other
share
Instagrams.
driveways or something?
Last week, I did not hold up my end of the bargain, and by my end of the bargain, I got that.
Well, you know what? I don't want to host this show with you anymore if you're going to go over 4 on these Parlay to Paradise. How about that? How about them apples?
Dallin Cuff, our special guest, ESPN college basketball analyst, he nailed his. You went 2 for 4. Very well done. 0 for 4 on my behalf. We were playing for $21K. We lost. Wipe it away.
Okay.
You're going to make 4 selections. I'm going to make 4 selections. We got a special guest coming your way, but we begin with you. What do you got?
All right, I'm going to start on the college gridiron.
Okay.
I'm going to go to my Missouri Tigers. They are getting 13 points at home against number 9 Georgia. They're finally ranked under Eli Drinkwitz, number 25 in the country. I think Mizzou is going to treat this game with more importance than Georgia. Georgia had SEC championship aspirations. It didn't work out. Mizzou is on the come up. 13, I love it at home. Money line winner for the Chargers.
Look at you.
Money line winner for the Steelers.
Oh, I'm rooting
to
for the
juice it.
Chargers.
And then an over in Minnesota, Tampa Bay. I was talking, I think Tom Brady throws at least 3 touchdowns. I think Cousins and Justin Jefferson and Thielen provide some offense. So that's what I'm bringing to the parlay card.
I don't like any of that, which is pretty much because
Sweet.
Georgia with JT Daniels have been good. But hey, I went 0-4 last week. You should want me to not like your picks. It's a
fair.
good thing at
That's
this point.
fair.
All right, my 4, Baylor +5 against Okie State. Teams headed in 2 different directions. Baylor's been playing hard. They played hard against Oklahoma. They want to finish strong under Dave Aranda. Oklahoma State couldn't care less. Mike Gundy's even come out and said he's going to play a lot of backups. Take the points with Baylor. Army-Navy. Get this for the stat of the day, and I've already said this once, stat of the day. This is stat number 2 of the day. The under has cashed in 14 straight Army-Navy games.
So why are you going over?
14 straight. I'm going over because this number's too low. 6 of the last 10 have featured 38 or more points. We're going over. The Chiefs against Miami, I don't think Tua can keep pace with Patrick Mahomes. He's going to put his points up. And Tampa Bay is my favorite bet of the week, laying the 6.5 off the bye. I think they throttle Minnesota. Special guest, Super Bowl champion, former Indianapolis Colts center, ESPN NFL analyst Jeff Saturday, not taking the Colts here in Vegas. Surprise, surprise. He's going to lay 6.5 with the Saints over the Eagles. Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I don't know. Taysom Hill, the Eagle defense can play a little bit. Just
They
a little
can play. And my concern with Taysom Hill, though, is that his two best games indoors against the Falcons, and I think about Justin Herbert against the Falcons. That's an easy matchup. The Eagles not quite as easy, and then the game tape, you don't have it on Jalen Hurts for Dennis Allen and that defense to look at, and that New Orleans defense has been awesome.
Counterpoint: the Eagles stink.
Valid.
That's it. See, that's it. That's how you. That one word. Boom. Counterpoint. All right. I'm feeling good.
Coming from an Eagles guy, too.
Coming from an Eagles guy, they stink. I mean, you want to make the switch. It's not going to solve.
He's too embarrassed to wear his Wentz jersey right now.
There will be none of that. Good luck, sir. How you feeling? Confidence level high?
I do feel good. I would lay the 4.5 with the Rams.
That's what I did.
The defense is going to be too much for Cam Newton.
He's Tyler Fulgham. I'm Joe Fortenbaugh. This is Bet. Thank you for checking us out. We always appreciate it. YouTube.com/ESPN Sports Setting. We will see you for the next episode on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.